We are broadcasting to you live from Interactive Broker Studio right here in Midtown Manhattan. There are two very interesting things evolving in the market. One is earnings and what do we do with a value trade? What do we do with small caps? And the other is the Trump trade effect, that if Trump wins the presidency after the events over the weekend, what that winds up looking like for the market. So there's lots of different stuff to dissect. So we want to go to Shana Sissel, President and CEO of Banríon Capital Management. She joins us from Chicago, Illinois. Shana, let's start off with the events over the weekend, the attempted assassination attempt to President Trump. There is a Trump trade in the market. Do you buy it? Like, is it real? I mean, typically, if you wind up trading stocks around who you think is going to be the president, that actually hasn't really paid off for you.
Well, I do think the Trump trade is real. I do think it's warranted. I think the events of the weekend actually bolster former President Trump's already the lead that he has. I think just, if you look across social media, a lot of folks who were not really Trump fans saw the events of this weekend as a reason to vote for him. In a way, that photo that came out is going to be iconic, and people saw it as like America and look at the way he handled this. And I think all of those things play into market sentiment, and you're seeing that in the Trump trade.
All right, Shana, let's maybe step back from that. Kind of prior to this weekend, what was your market call, and has anything changed?
My market call was that we're in a period of slowing economic growth, that the Fed rate hikes have done their job in many respects. We're clearly seeing the economy slow. The Fed has made it clear that there's a likelihood that there will be a rate cut in September. And I don't think any of that has changed, in my opinion. I think we still have a slowing economic conditions, and we still have high probability that the Fed will make its first cut in September.
So the headline to that over the last 3 trading days has been buy small caps. Do you buy that?
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. I'm very encouraged by the small cap rally. Small caps have done horribly for like 2 years and behaved in a way that we don't really have any like historical reference point for. Typically, small caps behave in a certain way technically, and they hadn't been doing that. So I'm encouraged by the small cap rally. We'd had a very long period of time where small caps did not make a new high, something like almost 2 years, I think. And so that is something I think is, a good thing, but I don't necessarily think small caps benefit in the current market environment for a number of reasons. Higher rates is just harder for them to tap into the capital markets. They're not necessarily the biggest beneficiaries of the hottest trends that are pushing earnings and growth, like AI. And so for those reasons, I'm still cautious on small caps.
Conversely, how do you think about those magnificent 6 or 7 stocks which have been, such a driver of this market, accounting for, the large majority of performance?
So one of the things that you can see in the market right now is we're seeing some dispersion of returns, starting to see greater participation across the S&P 500 outside of the Magnificent Seven, which is very positive. It's good for active managers. We touched on small caps. Active management in small cap has done absolutely phenomenal. And that's a perfect example of, why active management can work in certain areas of the market. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit outside of small caps and in large caps as we start to see the Mag 7 kind of take a breather. I think there's lots of other opportunities in the market to benefit from some of the hottest trends that people just aren't paying attention to.
So tell us, you have some nice stock picks here. Give us your top pick right now.
So I really like VRT. That's a second derivative player of the AI trade. So they do cooling systems for data centers. It's absolutely critical as we need more computing power for anything that is machine learning and artificial intelligence related. And they are the leading player with the top solutions when it comes to cooling, because a lot of computing power gets really hot and you certainly do not want things to overheat. So that's probably my favorite stock right now. It's the second derivative play of AI. And then I wanted to look outside of technology. Everybody kind of knows me as the NVIDIA girl, and, there's other places in the market. So Novartis is a healthcare name. Healthcare has not done great this year. but this is an opportunity to get in with a player that is doing some really cutting edge things in oncology in particular. And then, I have Apple on my list. I just said, let's think outside of tech, and now I'm going to throw Apple at you. But that's a stock that hasn't participated as much as some of the others. We've seen a rally recently, but the stock is trading at, a reasonable valuation and has some really interesting opportunities going forward.
Hey, Shana, what do we know about this AI tech spending? We hear about it, from all sorts of companies. And I guess one of the questions I have is, how much of this AI spending is incremental versus maybe just shuffled from another tech budget, whether it's, information technology or something like that? What do we know about that?
Well, I would argue that AI should be part of your information technology budget because that's where it sits. I think that it is incremental, though. I do think companies realize that they need to have both the infrastructure for traditional IT and then have to really be thinking long term as it pertains to how these things can improve business efficiencies. I know at Banríon, we're finding ways to incorporate AI in our tools and the way that we do our business as well. We use AI to help us with due diligence, and we use AI to help our clients use our technology. So I think everybody should be thinking about it because not only does it improve the user experience and improve business efficiencies, but it can save you money in the long run.
But also, one company that you have here on your list is AerCap Holdings. It's the world's largest aircraft leasing firm, if you're just looking at by fleet value. It also just hit a 52-week high just a couple days ago. I think it's an all-time high, really. Why do you like this company in this particular environment?
Well, we have the Boeing fiasco, which I think kind of makes people look for other areas where they can be taking advantage of, kind of the shortfall of Boeing. But it's also a really well-managed company trading at a massive discount to the market. So those two things, more than anything, are the reason why I like the stock. But, you can't overlook sort of market trends. I think you could argue that the Boeing situation doesn't necessarily affect them directly. But any kind of headline that would make people think about how airlines and fleets are managed, I think, is beneficial to AerCap.
Shane, I know in your career you've spent a lot of time on alternatives investing. What's the alternative that you think is most interesting these days that you're talking to your clients the most about?
Oh, man. So one of the things that has been coming up a lot lately is sports rights. It's one of my favorite topics because I think everybody out there can kind of connect with it. And we talk a lot about having advisors use alternatives as a way to connect with their target market of the types of clients that they want. And I think sports is, universally one of the ways to do that. And sports rights is becoming more and more common. I know Avenue Capital is launching a sports rights fund, and there are others like CAS Investments that have these accredited investor only, and I just want to preface that, opportunities in sports, but I'm seeing it more and more. And I think that's a really interesting play right now as you see, the Boston Celtics are being sold, and the multiple that they will get for that is going to be huge. And those opportunities are things that people pay attention to and connect with.
Hey, Shana, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Shana Sissel, President and CEO at Banríon Capital Market. So is that like everyone can get involved in sports rights?
I think if